management and fund management all throughout our career. We would like to partner with all of you and make sure that your journey is our journey, and we make sure that you also gain immensely using our platform, gaining your AUM substantially. So that is our main objective. So now I will request Arunabh to take it over from here and show us the product in detail. So over to Arunabh. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Welcome to the presentation. I'll be taking you through the entire platform today. So hopefully everybody can see the screen that is being shared. That is basically the website of our platform, engenmarkets.com. Our entire platform is basically online, so there's nothing to install. You can just go to the website, use your username and password, and simply log in. Of course, it's on the cloud, and it has data for everything from mutual funds, stocks, and a lot of other market information as well. So I'm at the login page now, and let's begin. So as I said, we have, the purpose of this application is not just specifically to research mutual funds, but it just to give you a great place where you can look at everything that you need relating to knowing about what the markets are doing. We have divided the application into several different sections, as you can see on the left-hand side. And I'll take just a few minutes in the beginning to take you through some of the general market functionality that we have brought for you, which are the first two sections here. And then we will go into how to research mutual funds, how to compare them, and much more importantly, we'll finally come to portfolios and look at how you can create portfolios of funds, stocks, and other things, and then analyze them in detail. So when it comes to general functionality, as you can see, the first thing that you see when you log into Engen Markets is basically one screen showing you what the major equity indices are doing. You would typically see live or real-time rates here, just where I'm showing you with my mouse. You'll also see live real-time rates for the sector indices as well as some recent data and returns. You will also see some data from world equity markets. So you've got 4 US major indices here. You've got 3 from Europe and a couple from Asia. And of course, you can see them across a couple of different time frames. As far as the sector indices are concerned, you're also able to see the best and the worst sectors in a very quick view, how they've been doing over the last 1, 3, 6, or 12 months. Again, just some useful functionality to see just generally how the markets are doing. One useful thing here that a lot of our users are currently using is if you just were wondering how the healthcare sector or the telecom sector has done versus the general market, for example. What you would do is you would just click on healthcare and you would click on telecom, and you'd see that they get added to the chart on the top. You can rebase them to make it a fair comparison, and then you can change the date to, let's say, January of this year. And then you can have a very easy and clear point that you can make to a client. And there are various different ways that you can make this point to the client. You can take a screenshot just by clicking this button. You'll get an image file that you can send out in an email or put in web.whatsapp.com, etc. You can also download as much data as you want. Everything that you see anywhere, you can download onto Excel if you want to continue with further research from there. There was a question on the chat asking if there's live data. Of course, yes, it shows live data. If this was during market hours, you would have been seeing the today column with points and percentage returns for not just these indices, but these indices as well. Also on the top right-hand side, you'll see macroeconomic data as well. This you can actually see not just for India, but also for other countries. As you see, we've got quite a list of, quite a decent list of the more important countries which have, which we have data for. The other useful thing you can do here is you can actually compare some of this economic data versus or across countries. So as you can see, I'm clicking on this little compare icon here, and it gives me a new window that can float around inside the screen. I can just put it at the bottom here, and now I'm looking at the unemployment rate of basically India here versus other countries. And not just that, I can look at the inflation rates, retail sales, whatever you want. And whatever data we have is all available here. You can take a screenshot of this box just by clicking this button, or you can download this data into Excel and use it for your further research. So let's put this back to some default values. And this is a screen where most of our users actually just kind of log in the morning to get a nice handle of what's happening in the markets, because most of the relevant information that you need is right here. The other thing that you can do with this particular page is you can take an export of this page out as a one-page PDF that you can send out to your clients or even for your own use. And we call that the daily market wrap. So I'm going to click on this right here, and it gives me a neat and clean one-page report of what happened today, basically. Now, of course, we understand all of this market data is actually available at various different places in the internet, but it's nice to have something that you can immediately just click and print. So here, as you can see, everything that you saw on the screen is neatly laid out for you. A little bit of extra features we've got is whatever you do on that chart here, it actually comes through to the PDF. So it's not coming from the server, it actually comes straight out of your website. So every time you send a client something, you could probably put something in there, which is a little interesting, for something for them to realize, for example, in this case, how well healthcare has done versus Nifty, etc. There's another section that we've just released over a few months ago, and it is the section you see now. It is the stock section. You're seeing a beta version of it, but it's pretty much live. Basically here, you've got live rates. Here you can see these are 49 minutes ago because that's when the market closed. But basically for large and mid-cap stocks, you see equity live prices until about the last 5 minutes, within the last 5 minutes. And for small caps, it will be more like an hour. But generally, we haven't received any complaints about this, and people are quite happy. And this is kind of a very quick screener, if you like, for equities. So, for example, simple things you can do here is you can just go to the healthcare sector and say, okay, what's the best performing stock today? I just sorted by the top, clicking the header of this, and says, okay, it's that one. And let me click on it. And as soon as I click on it, I can actually see the 10-day intraday 5-minute interval price. So you can kind of see how the rally today really looked like. And you can see these are actually all data points from today for the last 10 days. And just below that, you see a slightly longer term view of that particular stock. And on the right hand side, you get to see a lot more fundamental data as well. You can take a screenshot, again, as I said, anywhere around. As you go through the application, you see screenshots and download buttons everywhere. In fact, if there's something that you like and you realize there isn't a download button or a screenshot, you just have to drop us an email and we add it. So let's keep going. So here, as I said, you can just click on any stock and read the detail. You can also add more columns to this particular view, and they keep getting added to your right. And you can scroll and sort by them as well. Finally, before we move on to research and analytics, you can also add any of these stocks very easily to a watch list, which you can very quickly access anytime you like. And again, you can look at the entire market as a whole, or you can just look at your watch list if you like. So that's a very quick run through to the market section. The next one is a news section. This actually began as an experimental feature, but then we realized a lot of people actually use it on a daily basis. So it basically gets news articles from various different business news outlets and puts them in one place for you. And there are two ways that you can go through them. One is you can actually click on the headers, so you can filter them by category, if you like, or you can actually just search. So if I type Delhi, any article that has Delhi in the title or the summary will immediately show up. So you can quite literally search through these articles. And if you click on it in a new window, you will see that open up. So as I said earlier, the market section and the news section, they're always there for you whenever you need them. Our market close data is quite literally updated live about 3:35 and then 3:45. So if you want to send out the market wrap, you'd probably be able to send it before 4 p.m. Without any issues. So all the data that we have, live prices for is here. Now let me move on to a little bit more in terms of analytics. Now as I said earlier, we have data for mutual funds. We have data for stocks, which I just showed you very quickly. But let's look at some mutual funds now. So on the top here, you can always search for any fund that you like. So I'm just going to pick a balanced fund so I can show you some equity holdings as well as some debt holdings. Now, you can search and load up any fund. And as soon as you do that, basically you can look at the top section, which gives you some key details on the top here. So what the asset class, category, study classification, etc. is. You can see the AUM. You can see the history of the AUM in chart form. Again, you can download the data in Excel, this historical AUM data. You also get to see other data that is sent to us through AMCs, things like yield to maturity, average maturity duration, etc. And again, you can hit this chart, and what you get is basically a historical representation of those three things as well. And finally, of course, you see what other options there are, and then we come to a section for benchmarks. So basically, what you can do here is you can run this fund in terms of its analysis against any benchmark you like. Now, typically, just to keep ourselves completely independent in terms of how we analyze funds, we kind of don't really look at the fund manager's actual benchmark, as in what he says the benchmark is. We let our users actually pick what they feel the benchmark should be. So here you can actually pick from any of these given indices here. There's stuff for equities, there's stuff for debt. Obviously, the world indices are there. They may be useful for some of the overseas funds. And then, of course, there's sector indices there. And we've also included some reference indices, but we'll come back to that when we go to the portfolio section where they become more useful. So based on whatever benchmark you've chosen, let's come down to the analytics sections now. So I'm just going to hide that top section so we can focus a little bit more on this. Now, all the analytics that we have for mutual funds are actually across various different tabs. I'll take you through this, and then we will go and look at how we can compare funds with each other in terms of a big list. So now we're looking at this fund, and the blue line shows you the actual NAV of the fund over time versus whatever benchmark has been chosen. You can see some key return statistics here. You can see your CAGR. You can see simple annual return. You can see standard deviation. There's some explanations for all these as well for those that want to read about it a little bit more. But some of this stuff is pretty standard. Sharpe ratio, Sortino. We also have VAR. Very quickly, VAR would basically mean value at risk. In this case, it will show you the amount of money that has a 5% chance, amount of loss that has a 5% chance of happening over the on an annual basis for this fund based on probability. So if you wanted to look at your downside, that's your downside, at least mathematically. And this number is a very similar number, but that's your downside based on standard deviation, not returns. Again, there are options of changing this to a 99% VAR or a 95% VAR, etc. We can answer more questions on this if you like. Below this, you'll actually see some relative returns. So, of course, what you see here is actually alpha. Then you see tracking error, information ratio. You also see capture ratios. People have sometimes asked us about the calculations of this. Now, everything you see here is calculated by us, so we can give you an exact answer for why that number is what it is. Here, when you see up capture ratio, it actually shows you the individual months, because for the up capture ratio is obviously taking the up months of the benchmark and then looking at what the fund or the asset in this case did during those months. So you can see all the up months of the fund and what of the benchmark, and what the fund did during that time. And similarly for the down capture ratios as well. Below this, you also see monthly returns and yearly returns. You can zoom in like this to hover over any month and see what happens and see what those numbers are. And below that, you see stats. Now, they are simple, but we feel they are quite useful. Just with one look, you can see, okay, 56% of the months that this fund has had over the period we're looking at have been up. And when they've been up, on average, they've been up about 4%. So that's pretty useful information. And when they've been down minus 3.32, a little less than the average up, etc. So you get a lot more useful information here. Again, the same thing for years as well. Let's move on to the next tab. The next tab is all about the holdings of the fund. So here you can see it's showing you holdings from last month's end. Our data for fund holdings are updated on the 10th of every month as the data is released. And we don't just update it on the 10th, we actually check every single day. So if they get released on the 8th, it'll be available for you the very next day. So here you can see how much of this fund is in equities, debts, etc. You can click on this pie chart and see what the underlying components are made up of. Or you can see everything. There is a very quick button here to download all the holdings, all these holdings as well. More usefully, the next two tabs are quite useful to see how these positions have changed. So here you can see how their holdings have changed from the previous month. What's increased, what's decreased, what has been added, and what has been taken out. And you can actually go back a few months to see, what changed the previous month or the month before that, from the month before that. Positions over time. This is a really useful view of what I was just showing you in the tab before this. Here you can actually see how the sector exposure in percentage holding terms has changed over the last 6 months. So you can see that in this particular sector, for example, this is how the percentage holding for this particular mutual fund has changed over the last few months. You can download this data again in Excel, or you can look at it by stock. So here now you can pick a stock and see, okay, this is how much they used to have in ITC, and it has grown and gone down and gone down and gone down again. So again, very easy to look at these things in this one single view. Then we have a tab for concentration. Again, you can see how much of their holdings are concentrated in the top 3. The top 3 here is about 21% of the fund. Top 5 is 32% of the fund, and so on. So you get a good idea of how diversified they may or may not be. Also, we have industry and sector. These are both very, very similar to each other. So I'll go through one of them. So this one looks at the BSE sectors and how much sector exposure you have. And if you click on the pie chart, you'll actually be able to see which stocks make up that exposure. And finally, debt. You can see how the ratings are spread out based on the holdings of the fund. We have peer analysis. You can see what the SEBI classification average has for these particular statistics and what this fund has done versus that statistic. And you have a little table here where you can see the other funds in that particular category. But we'll come to this kind of stuff when we go to the screener where you have much more functionality. Fund manager, you can see fund manager information here and what other funds they have managed or are managing now. And if you click on any of them, they'll just simply load the same page for that fund in a new window. The last 4 tabs here are basically much more about analyzing the NAV. So they are rolling analysis, scenario analysis, drawdowns, and beta. Now, rolling analysis is very, very useful here. We are one of the only platforms that we have seen so far that actually does this on a daily frequency. We've seen most other platforms using monthly frequency for this, which we don't believe should be done. So we are using proper daily data for all this. So by default, you'll see 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months rolling returns, but it's very easy to change them. For example, if you want to do 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year, 260 would signify 1 year as it's written here. So I can just do 260, 520, and 780, and I hit run. And as you can see, without the actual page even loading, you get the answer right here. And if you look, it's actually done 6 things. It's done the 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year daily rolling return series, as you can see on the chart here and the stats. But on top of that, it's also done daily return standard deviation for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year at the chart below. So in both these cases, you can actually get a really nice idea of the trend of their returns and of the trend of their risk. And here, for example, it's a very useful chart. You won't really find it in other platforms as far as we know. And here, it gives you a very good idea of how stable their risk has been over time. So if you look at some fund which has a standard deviation of 12% and you're happy with it, you should probably check that the last 5 to 10 years, have they actually been around 12% or they used to be at 20 at one point. So it's a very easy way to check that. Scenario analysis did give you a good idea of what this fund has done during various periods of what we may call, for example, market shocks or interesting periods of time. We've created some on our own. but you can create your own custom scenarios. It's very easy to do it, and keep them here, and they will load up no matter what security you're looking at. Okay, this drawdown tab, this is really useful. We find it's one of the best features of our analytics platform, and is certainly not available in other places. Here, you're looking at a daily return analysis of the worst 5 losses that this fund has suffered. And how do we define a loss? If you pay attention to the gray areas, there are 5 of them in the chart, and those gray areas actually pick out those loss periods for you. The loss period starts, or loss period or drawdown begins at a peak. So for example, right there, and ends when it finally stops to fall. And that's right at the bottom. So that's your top and your bottom, and how much loss was there, that defines the size of the loss. You can easily use our zooming tool to just click and drag. All I'm doing with my mouse is clicking and dragging, and zoom into this area and look that, okay, this is where the loss started. And we are looking at the loss in 2015, and there's a table below where you can find that loss. There it is, this one. And you can see, it started around about January 2015, and it kept going until February 2016 for about a month. It lost 21.9%. And then it took 97 working days to recover back to the point that it started falling from. Basically, this means getting back to this point. So how long did it take for it to recover? So again, very useful information that you can draw from here. This also gives you a great idea of what kind of losses to expect in the future. And much more importantly, it also gives you an idea when you make portfolios. If you've taken 5 or 6 funds and put them in a portfolio with reasonably good allocations, has that process actually brought down the size of the drawdowns? Has that process actually reduced the recovery days? If it has, that means that you've done a good job of combining these funds and taken advantage of diversification. And finally, beta correlation. So this is pretty straightforward. You can see the relationship to the benchmark that you've chosen. You can also see a scatter plot. Now here you can see the beta correlation are both quite high, and therefore you see a concentrated scatter plot across a straight line. And you can change the start and end date of this analysis and just simply hit run, and it will just do it immediately for you. So that's a very quick run through to our analytics. Whenever you load a fund, we have other functions here as well. You can download the NAV series just with one click. It's very easy. We also have 3 PDF formats. I'll open up the biggest one. While it's opening up, we used to have only this particular format that I'm showing you right now. But as Alok had mentioned, we are constantly taking feedback from users and implementing them. So a lot of feedback came back saying that sometimes we just need to send client a very simple report, nothing too fancy, nothing too complex. So then we actually ended up creating a 1-pager, a 2-pager, and 3-pager. And depending on the kind of client you want to send it to, you can click on any one of them. So this is the PDF. For our full Engine Markets subscribers, you can send us your logo, and we will basically replace the Engine Markets logo with your logo here. This will obviously say your login name, whatever you want that to be. And as we scroll through, you'll actually see the same things that I've just taken you through, just neatly put into a properly formatted PDF. So second page, monthly yearly charts. You can see performance versus peers. You can see drawdowns. There's a little bit of an explanation for the drawdowns in case clients want to understand more about it. And finally, you see rolling returns and rolling volatility. So it's a nice 3-pager to send to a client. If you want, I can quickly show you the 1-pager as well. Again, as expected, it'll be quite short and sweet. So you'll see performance, some performance stats, and then just below that, the top holdings and equity, debt, etc. And so you can pick and choose whichever mutual funds whichever report you want to take. And finally, you can add them to your favorites, which can be accessed from here anytime, so you don't have to keep on searching. Now let me take you through the fund section. Now that we've looked at one fund in detail, you can load that fund up anytime. But now we want to look at our fund section, which has several different sections to do several different things. What I'm showing you right now is a screener, and that's straightforward in terms of what the purpose is. But our screener is best described with an example. So let's say that I was looking for large cap funds. So the first thing I would do is go and select some SEBI categories. So I let's say that I want to see large cap funds. And you can select more as well. So you can select both, for example. You don't have to select just one category. And you can select across as well. Now I selected that and I said, okay, I don't want to see any fund that, let's say, is below 200 crores. So you apply a minimum AUM filter. As we move along, we can also see that here okay, sorry, 1 second. Yeah. So here you can see that our screen has loads of columns, right? Everything from holding data all the way to returns, etc. So we've got net YTM, YTM average maturity, columns of how much is in AAA, how much is in A, AA, etc. PE, PB, all the way up to large cap percent holding, mid cap holding, etc. Top 3, 5, 10 holding, 20 holdings. These are the concentration columns. Then you have some risk stats like Sharpe ratio, value at risk, or T-no standard deviation. And as you keep moving along, then you see much more about returns. Obviously month to date, year to date, inception, that's pretty much a CAGR since inception. Then you have every calendar year for the last 10 years. And then starting from 1 month all the way up to 15 years, and then finally some rolling returns as well. So because there's so many columns, we basically went through an exercise where we started to give you some preset columns. So for example, if you're just interested in risk statistics, sorry, I think somebody had a question. Okay, so I just had a question on here on the chat saying how frequently is the portfolio updated? NAVs are updated on a daily basis, and in terms of the fund holdings, they are updated as and when the data is received, which is pretty much around the 10th of every month. And as I said earlier, we check the update every day. So if it comes on the 8th, it will be here on the 8th. Some funds actually are up to date before the 10th, some are late, which happens about 11th. As I was saying, now we're looking at a filtered list of columns here, so which is only showing me risk-related columns. So concentration, Sharpe ratio, value at risk, or T-no ratio, standard deviation, things like that. If I wanted to look at equity columns, then you get other things, like large cap percentage, holding, large cap, small cap, etc. And the main thing is that you can sort using any of these statistics, as I'm doing right now, top to bottom, bottom to top. So for example, if I look at return columns, I can very easily look at the best 2019, for example, or the worst 2019 in this case for the funds that we're looking at. And so this is showing you large and mid-cap funds over 200 crores sorted by 2019 year returns, etc. So the other thing you can also do is, because there's so many columns, you can either use the preset column list, or you can actually select them as you like. So you can keep adding whatever you want and taking out whatever you don't want. And you can give the set of columns a name, so you can load them later. Now, one of the ways you can do it is you can actually sort by any of these returns. And the other thing you can do is you can start comparing some of these funds. So on the left-hand side here, you can actually hit the compare button, like I've just done, and it's like a shopping basket, and it keeps adding it to your list of comparisons. So basically, now if you look at the compare section, those few funds that I just clicked on have now shown up here, and I'm doing a little bit more of a focused analysis on those funds. So here you can see again similar statistics here for returns and for holdings as well. So you get again large cap, mid cap, PBB, etc. And you see more return columns here as well. Here you can do other things like change the start date of this analysis. So for example, if you just wanted to see how these funds have done only in the last 3 years, you can do that. Or any kind of particular period. There's more functionality for that as well. What's also useful here is you can add into this compare list. You don't just have to bring it from the screener. You can actually add any fund here. And I don't know if I have that in there. You can add any fund to this comparison list, and keep growing the list. If you want, you can actually add an entire category just by searching for it over here. And it will add all those 23 funds here. So all these little features are available there to help you just do all your work faster. And also, most importantly, once you're done with the list and you're happy with the list, you can call it something and save it. And as you can see here, I've got lots of lists of mutual funds saved. And if I click on any of them, for example, this is a list of large cap funds, it loads up the list for me. So you just have to save it once with a name, and you can update it or change it, or save any number of new ones. As we move through these tabs here, you've got several different tabs here. One is a very interesting one where we can do a portfolio overlap analysis for all of these funds. In fact, not just 7, you can have 30, 35, 40 funds, doesn't matter. It'll do it for the whole list. So here you can see on the left, you'll see two things. On the left, you'll see the minimum common holdings. So those are the actual holdings, so stocks in this case, that are overlapping across all these funds in your list. So I think I've got 6 funds and 1 index here. You can, by the way, add any benchmark to this analysis as well. Here you can see there are 6 funds, and these stocks happen to be there in each and every one of them. And if you click on this little plus button, you will see how much exactly within that. So it's very easy to find what the minimum common holding is across whatever list of funds. Second thing is you get a total overlap matrix. This is extremely useful. What this is showing you is that if you were thinking about investing in these funds, what you want to look at is what kind of overlap they have across positions in these funds. For example, you can see there is a 64% here. That's quite high. Now, what does that tell you? Where I've got my mouse, 64%, it's telling you that the BNP Paribas Large Cap Fund and the Axis Blue Chip Fund have 64% of their portfolio in common. It's exactly the same. And if you want to understand exactly why, you just have to click on it. And if you click on it, you'll see a full explanation of that 64%. You will see one fund like this, the other one like this, exactly which stock, and then you can see how much is the overlap. Right. And again, you can do it with 20 funds, 30 funds. In fact, once I'm done with this section, I'll quickly show you a larger list also. And again, I forgot to mention Excel downloads. Everywhere you can Excel download this matrix. You can even Excel download this list just by one click, and of course this one as well. Now, fund overlaps are useful, but sometimes they're not, they won't give you the complete picture. Sometimes you need to look at correlations. So this is a correlation matrix. So this is a correlation matrix, and here if you hover over any of the numbers, it will show you there is a correlation between this and this fund, as you just see here. So that's 0.94 is the daily NAV correlation between Principal Emerging Blue Chip and Canara Robeco Emerging Blue Chip. And again, I'll stress the daily part. We've seen some correlation analysis in other places as well. Correlation is obviously very subjective to movements, and it's imperative that we use daily movements to calculate correlations. Otherwise, relationships are just not captured. I keep moving on here. You get a performance chart. This is pretty straightforward. You'll get all the funds in your list in one chart. You can squeeze it if you like by changing the start and end date. Mostly people use this, to take screenshots out. There's a screenshot button here. You can just send it to your client if you want. Let's say put 5, 6 funds in here and create some nice charts, etc. Point to point, this is really useful. A lot of our clients have been using it quite heavily. So here you can you get 5 start and end date sets, and in any of them you can put whatever start end date you want. You can just change it live, like I'm changing them right now. And give whatever date you want, and for that period it will show you the return for all the funds in your list, and then you can choose another set of dates here, another set of dates here, another set of dates here. So some people earlier, what they were doing were putting the lockdown 1 start end date, lockdown 2 start end date, 3, 4, and the entire lockdown like this, and putting 20 funds like this, and creating a list so that they could tell their clients that, okay, this is during the entire lockdown period, this is how all these funds did versus each other. And of course, you can sort these results up or down. And also, if you want, you can look at these results as an annualized basis or a pure NAV to NAV absolute basis. And also, you can download this data in Excel, and that's again standard. Finally, you see the last 12 months. It's just a quick view of how the last 12 months have been for all these funds. Let me move on to the 2 tools we have here, which are the last 2 tabs in this section. One is equity holdings, and the other is debt holdings. Both are all about the holdings of the funds and analyzing them across the mutual fund universe. So here, the only real purpose of coming here is you're worried about a stock, or you're thinking about a stock, and you're wondering which mutual funds are holding that stock. And so, for example, I go ITC and I click on it, I will find a big list of all mutual funds that are holding ITC. Very easy to retrieve and download in Excel. Obviously, you can sort using any of these. And on the left-hand side, you also see a quick view of the top 25 stocks that are currently held by mutual funds right now. And again, if you want a further detail, you can just click on it, and then the list will load for you on the right-hand side. For debt holdings, you can see this in two ways. Obviously, equity is much more straightforward. It's just a stock and it has a name and an ISIN code. With debt, as you can understand, there's a lot more involved. So you can search in two different ways. One is you can search for a specific debt security, for example, like a bond, and you can type the name and actually find the specific paper or bond. And if you click on it, you'll see which fund or funds are holding that particular one. Or if you want to do a more broad-based search, you can type something like IndusInd here and hit search, and then you start to get a result of all funds that are holding any kind of IndusInd debt. And you get an entire big list here, which you can either sort or you can download from Excel. So that brings us to the end of the fund analysis section. What we will do now is jump straight to portfolios. And here I will actually talk about how you can take mutual funds and stocks and custom securities, which we'll explain later, into one portfolio and then analyze that portfolio. So our portfolio analytics are one of our basically most loved features. One of the reasons that a lot of our users have been using Engine Markets for a while. So I'll show you some of the processes and how they work. So you can actually basically save as many portfolios as you want here. You can see them saved up on the left here. You can save as many as you like. Creating them is very easy. You just type the name of the fund, like that. You put 20% in that fund. And you keep going. You keep adding more funds. You can add a stock here. You can put some money in a stock. Let's say I want to put 20% in that, and keep going like that. Obviously, that's a little bit of a cumbersome process, but that process is always there. Also, you can actually directly upload data from Excel as long as you have the ISIN codes of the funds or the stocks. That is a very, very straightforward process. And here you can actually copy and paste directly from Excel. And what it looks like is this. And you just click on validate, and all the funds will be automatically loaded percentage-wise, even if you put amounts or units or anything. Other than that, through various user requests over the last few months, we've also included a CDSL a PDF reader. So it reads the mutual fund holdings out of those and puts them directly in here. You obviously have to supply the password. So all you do is you put your password in here and upload that file. And similarly, we have a reader for NSDL files as well. And also the CAMS summary cash statement that's come out. That we have a reader for that as well. And here, again, we have a couple of extra buttons here to kind of rescale things to 100 or equally allocate, for example. I just did that. And then you basically run the portfolio. So let me run a portfolio that I've got saved here. It's got 9 mutual funds in it, and it's running right now. And what it's doing is two major things. One is it's looking through the holdings of each of the funds in your portfolio, and creating a list of exposures that you now have as a result of the holdings in your mutual funds to stocks and bonds. So basically, you now, when you look at this list here, you'll see a list of your exposures that have been caused by the holdings of these mutual funds and your position in those mutual funds. So you can see our biggest exposure in this portfolio is to Infosys, right? And if you open it up by clicking this little I button, you will actually see where that exposure is coming from. So you'll see that we have put 10% in Kotak Multicap, Total Standard Multicap Fund. Kotak Standard Multicap Fund has put 5.78% into Infosys stock. And therefore, our exposure to Infosys from this particular fund is 0.58%, and so on. And the total sum of this is our total exposure to Infosys as a result of the funds that we have invested in. So you get a complete list of exposures all the way down to zero. You can even check this answer for the lowest one. You might say, okay, why do I have this little bond here? And the reason you have this bond here is because you've got the HDFC low duration fund here, and that happens to have a tiny position in that bond. You can download this list in Excel very easily with just one click. It's one of our most used features. And now that we have a list of exposures in this portfolio, we can see how concentrated our exposures are. So these numbers are not going to be immediately obvious to you if you just have this portfolio. It's only when you run this portfolio in our analytics section do you realize that, okay, my equity debt asset allocation is about 75 to 25, right? My concentration is actually pretty okay because my top 3 positions take up only 12%. And what are the top 3 positions? They are Infosys, ICICI, and Reliance. Because these stock movements will affect me directly through the investments I have in these mutual funds. And you can look at what kind of fund categories you have. You can also look at what kind of equity exposures now I have. Again, what I'm showing you is not going to be obvious to you when you look at this portfolio of mutual funds. But now it will be, now that you've run it through our analytics. And if you click on these sectors, you'll see which stocks are making up that particular sector analysis. For debt, basically, you can also see much more analysis here. You can see through the holdings of whatever funds you've invested in, some of them may be debt funds. It will look at the debt securities and calculate exactly how much you have exposure to based on ratings. So how much is in, how much am I exposed to for AAA and A1+, etc., etc., etc. Right? And you'll see all that here. You will see your portfolio's average maturity. You'll see your portfolio's average duration, and you'll see your portfolio's average YTM, weighted by the portfolio weights that we have here.
Arunabh, there is a request for showing the debt section in little elaboration, I think. So I believe Arunabh is explaining the debt section in a portfolio. Yes. I think during the presentation, he will touch upon more on debt.
Okay.
So that request is point taken. Fine. To Sujata.
Okay, no problem. So yeah. So I'll keep going through this. So that was the asset allocation section where you can actually look through the holdings and the intersection and the exposures that you have. Now, since this is a portfolio, we also want to see what these funds in this portfolio would have done. So it's a hypothetical backtest, but this is the main reason to look at it. This is not reporting to you what your portfolio has performed. This is reporting to you what the portfolio would have done if you had this for a long period of time. And it's the best way, we believe, to actually look at deciding whether it's the right portfolio to go ahead with or not. So here you see in
Arunabh, sorry to interfere. I think there is one question in the chat box from Mr. Bhushan.
Yeah.
He wanted to understand the allocation. In your example, you have mentioned about Infosys. I think he has some further question. If you could answer.
Yeah. So the question is, if I have if I want a fund which has maximum exposure to, say, Infosys, yeah, I mean that you can actually check right here by just saying Infosys. And you can find whichever fund has the highest allocation percentage-wise, and there it is. It's the Tata Digital Fund. Within your portfolio, it will be pretty clear. If you go to asset allocation here, you open up Infosys here. Sorry, you open up Infosys here, and again you can see the exact allocation of the funds in your portfolio. But from a general market perspective, you can see it in the fund section very quickly. So now, as we're talking about the performance of this portfolio, so here you can see, again, this is a portfolio. We are trying to make a decision about whether the portfolio is good for me or not. And the best way to do it is to run it back in time and then analyze the returns that it would have given if we had it over the last, let's say, 7-8 years. And that's exactly what you see with the blue line. The second line, which is the black line, that's the benchmark line. And the benchmark here is quite interesting. If you remember earlier when we were talking about benchmarks, I said we would come back to the reference indices during the portfolio section. And the reason is that because when you look at the exposures that we just saw here, there was 75-25. What we've done is we've auto-selected a benchmark for you, which represents that same equity debt mix. So in this case, it's reference index 3, which is 80-20, which is closest to 75-25. Again, so now you can actually tell your client that, listen, if you didn't invest with me and you just invested 80% in Nifty and 20% in a bond index, I would still have done better than you. So I am definitely doing better than what you could have done just anywhere else. So this is one way you can present it. But of course, if you want, you can change the benchmark in this comparison. If you want to just make it BSE 500 or something, all you have to do is click it like I just did right now, and you'll see in this portfolio analysis the benchmark is now changed. Again, we have lots of other functionality here. I don't want to take too much time, but I want to make sure that I go through everything. The performance analysis section is actually exactly the same as that I showed you for the fund, for the single fund. It's the same thing, but this time it applies to the actual portfolios. Contribution, this is a new tab that wasn't there when I was showing you fund analytics, because now we're looking at a portfolio of mutual funds. And of course, you want to know how the funds contributed to the performance of the portfolio over this period of time. And you can see which ones did and which ones didn't that much. You can see what their contribution is and how they contributed to the performance of this fund. You can also change the time period of this comparison. So for example, if you want to see, okay, that's fine, but I wanted to see the last 3 years only. You can just run it, and then this analysis is rerun for the last 3 years only, right? Correlation matrix. Correlation matrix, again, this is very similar to what you saw in the fund comparison section. But in this case, you also have a start and end date. You can change it. But again, when you're running a portfolio, it's only natural that you want to see if you've got great diversification or not. And here, as you hover over any of these numbers, you can see the correlation between those two funds very, very quickly. And since you might be worried about correlations recently, for example, so you might want to say over the last 6 or 7 months, and I want to look at what the correlation matrix looks like. And I'll remind you, this is correlation of daily NAVs across 9x9 matrix of funds. Okay, so when I click on this, you can see the page didn't even refresh, and the answers are already ready for you. The final 4 pages are again a repetition of what I showed you. So I'm not going to spend time explaining the same thing, but because it's exactly doing the same as I showed you. This is a rolling analysis of, in this case, the portfolio's return, not the fund. And again, you can change the windows very quickly and run it. You get scenario analysis of the portfolio's return, and drawdowns, if you remember when we brought that up earlier, is if this portfolio is actually adding value, you'd see a slightly better drawdown profile here. And the drawdowns would be smaller, they would recover quicker. And this is something that any portfolio would want. So that eventually the investor benefits from that choice or that basket that you've chosen for them. And finally, beta correlation. Again, this is the beta of the portfolio to the benchmark. And as I said, again, remember, you can change the benchmark. Before I take us to the last section, which is comparing two portfolios side by side, I'll also show you how you can export and share some of this data with your clients. Obviously, one thing you can do is download this exposure list, which is, like I said, one of the best, most used features of our platform. You quickly put in a portfolio here, run it, and then download the exposures that it has caused. The other thing you can do is download the price NAV series of this blue line, which is the portfolio. Again, not very easy to calculate, but it's there for you very quickly if you run it in here. You can get a PDF report, which is again a neat and clean version of all this research in just 2 pages. We've tried to keep it short so that clients will actually spend time reading it. Again, we offer co-branding where your logo will replace Engine Markets. And you can see this is the historical performance of your current portfolio. And again, you see all the statistics here, the major charts. You'll see yearly returns, you'll see just the rolling returns. We don't put a rolling ball in here, it gets too messy. Then you'll see, most importantly, what my holdings are, what my portfolio is made up of. And on the right-hand side, top exposures, what my portfolio has caused. It is because of this that I have this. And then you see the equity charts, you see debt charts, and finally, you see our favorite drawdown chart. Let me close that. We also have a really nice and cool feature of sharing this analysis with your client. And that is to do this. It's a share link that you can share with your client. You just click it once and you get this little box with the link here. You click this to copy it. That's it. And you can send this to your client. And as long as they're on a computer and not a phone or a mobile device, and they hit this link, this is what will open up for them. They don't even have a login or anything. It's actually, it'll work for anyone. And this entire portfolio analysis that we did, you can send it to them. It will work for 7 days and then it'll stop working and you'll have to generate a new one. There are no limits to how many you can generate. You can generate as many as you like. And again, everything we just did, they will be able to do on their computer. So if you have clients who are happy to be a little tech savvy about this, you can do that. Now let's finally talk about the last section, which is about basically comparing two portfolios side by side. This is really, really useful and definitely one of our leading features. Lots of clients, what they do, lots of our users, what they do is they put the client's portfolio on the left. They obviously load it and save it first in the portfolio section. And then they put their own, let's say, model portfolio, whatever they're suggesting to the client on the right. And now they can actually give the client a real reason as to why what they're suggesting is actually useful. So they can tell them that, look, what you've got is this. What I'm telling you should do is this. Now, obviously, there's more diversification on the right-hand side, but that much is clear. But you can actually show them on a chart that if we had gone back in time, I would have done better than you in performance. And you can see the years are clearly also saying that. Not just that, you can actually look at the statistics side by side. That's the client. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying it's pretty much better in every stat. Every average day, average month, average year, everything is better. Secondly, you can show them the asset allocation side by side. You can show them that they're very equity concentrated here. Here, not so much. You can show the asset allocation side by side. You can show the exposures side by side. You can show rolling returns side by side of both portfolios. And finally, again, as I'm sure you expected, drawdowns side by side. You can tell them that, look, your worst drawdown would have been worse than mine. Even the next one, is at least taking whatever number of days to recover, and mine is taking less or more. But you get the idea. You can compare any portfolio with anything here. You can change the start dates if you want to focus on the last 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, etc. You can take a PDF report out of this comparison. That's a 4-page report. I'll quickly show you that report. And here you can actually, again, co-branding here. You can show them side by side how they would have done, how the portfolios would have done, stats difference, and then after that, as you scroll down, everything is left, right, client on the left, you're on the right, and it goes on asset allocation difference, rolling returns, and then finally the portfolio side by side. So that ends the portfolio compare section. Finally, I'll just spend just 30 seconds talking to you about custom securities. If people have questions, we can come back to them later. But custom securities are where if you have the data for something, date and price series, you can save it here. This is basically nothing but your own security master that you can actually maintain within Engine. And there are 2 reasons that you would do that. One is you want to analyze a data series that you got from somebody. It could be a client's daily mark to market for the last 10 years. You put it in here. If you put it in here, you're able to run rolling analysis on it, or just simple performance analysis. You can run scenario analysis. You can find out the drawdowns, etc. The other reason that you would do this is that you can create a portfolio where you can add a fund there and a stock there, and you can even add whatever it is that you added, a custom security. So I think that ends most of the existing functionality. Just before I hand it back, I'll just give you a few words of all the new things that are coming. We are, as Alok said, constantly working on new features. You can actually check them out yourself. We are on Twitter. Our Twitter feed is not really a marketing feed. It's more of a software update feed, but it kind of serves our purpose. So we use it. And if you click on it, you can see it here also. And you can see over the last, many months, every 1 or 2 weeks, something or the other always comes up. And we continue to work on things based on your feedback. Anything that's possible eventually does get done. Please do, have a look. The client section, which I didn't go into, is something that is being developed right now. So we thought we'll just give you a sneak peek at what it is. Because just to give you a very quick background, the portfolio section has been really, really well received. But one of the complaints has been that they have to keep coming and uploading their client data in here, so then they can run performance analysis. That it would be great if their client data was already here. Now, we've done this kind of work with our enterprise clients like L&T and IFL, where their client data is completely integrated into Engine. So all they have to do is come here and click on the client name and then run the analysis. So in order to make that happen, we've started a section where we look at your RTA files from CAMS, Garvey, and Franklin. And we take just the AUM files. We're not interested in transactions because we just want the latest holdings, and we integrate them here under your login. And on a periodic basis, you can refresh them. And so on here, what you see is demonstration of what that would look like. And literally, you would see a dashboard. This is my AUM. This is the number of clients I have. I can search them here very simply. And if I can load up a client, okay, there's not many funds here. Let me load up a okay, so I've got this is all demonstration data. This is my client. I can see a little bit of details. I can sort here with some of these numbers. But much more importantly, the entire reason I've done this is because I want to run portfolio analytics on this particular client. As soon as this finishes running, which will be a few more seconds, you can actually create you can create a PDF report or a share link and then send the share them. And in this section, many more things will be coming up. And we are also, just to end the conversation about new features, we are going to also be introducing more functionality for SIP and SIP comparison across funds. That's something we don't have right now. We'll also be adding more functionality about comparing a bunch of funds versus one particular benchmark. Because as you know, one big problem is even in the large cap SEBI classification, all funds seem to have their own benchmarks, which makes their alpha not comparable. So we're going to try and solve that problem in the funds compare section by letting you choose a benchmark to be applied to whatever you have in the list, so that your alpha is actually comparable. So those are some of the things that are going to be coming in the next couple of months. So I will now just...
Arunabh, there is one query relating to that alpha only you just explained.
Yeah.
I would request you to elaborate on that alpha. Normally industry do compare. What is your outlook and how we have tried to fix it up in our software?
Sure. So basically, one thing about alpha is, let me just load up a fund here. So we are looking at HDFC Top 100. Now the thing is, when we look at this fund versus one particular benchmark, the excess return over the benchmark or the alpha is obviously versus, in this case, Nifty 50. The reason that you don't see an alpha when you go to the Springer, for example, is because when you're looking at 5 or 6 large cap funds, you can't compare their alphas in one view if all the alphas are against different benchmarks. Now, unfortunately, most of the large cap funds also, or small or whatever, even if they're in the same category, they seem to have their own benchmarks, which they have just basically chosen based on their own requirements. But from our perspective, if you want to independently analyze all large cap funds, it would make much more sense for them to be compared to the same benchmark. So in order to do that, we will introduce more functionality. But currently, we've seen systems, etc., where alpha is being compared across funds where their underlying benchmark is different. We don't believe that that's correct. So hopefully that makes sense. There's another question about alpha made by fund managers. Yeah, so we do have fund manager data for who the fund managers for a particular fund are. We, however, don't have. If I believe what you're asking is whether we track the fund manager and as they move through different funds, what kind of alpha they've made over time. So that is something we don't have, and one of the reasons we don't is because about 8-9 months ago we started this project where we would make league tables. We would make league tables about how fund managers have done based by tracking all the funds that they have managed so far. But what we found was that data was not very reliable at all. In fact, I believe a few months ago, SEBI actually released more strict guidelines for AMCs to report fund manager changes, and I believe in the last few months the data has improved. But because of the inaccuracies we found in that data, we kind of shelved that project. So currently we don't have a fund manager alpha available. Okay, there is a couple of questions about cost, which I'm sure Alok will address. I think, yeah, I think, Alok, is there any other questions?
I believe we have addressed all the question, but we tried to keep this presentation session for 1 hour. And also definitely, as Mr. Bhatt correctly pointed out, it will not be possible to address all the query. So we would request each one of you, if you find this particular tools analytics really useful or would like to know more about it, request you to please drop your I think we'll be sending you a mail. You please drop your contact number so that our RM can speak to you, or you can speak to your RM who have invited you, or Anirudh will drop. Anirudh, please post your contact number in the chat box so that everybody can note down and they can contact. There are other RM also, Anurag, Deepika, Mrinalini. They would also contact. You can contact your respective RMs, and we'll send you, post this presentation, we'll send you a mail. Request you to please reply back with your contact number if you are interested, or if you have any query, or if you wish to see that demo login for 1 or 2 days. We'll be happy to provide all support in terms of the understanding the software before you decide on the particular software. Yes, now coming back to the pricing. So as I said, initially for institutional solutions, the pricing was different. In last 5 months, we collectively, me, Deb, and Arunabh has thought through and wanted to provide similar kind of high-end analytics in an uniform model, which is a software, and we decided to offer at a much attractive price. So primarily the price was 90,000 plus GST per annum per subscription, per login subscription, and 5,000 we used to charge for white labeling or co-branding in all the reports you generate. Any number of reports you generate in a PDF format, that would be coming out with your company name, your logo, and your name into that. So for that we used to charge 5,000 additional charges, but due to the present scenario and due to our endeavor, we wanted to reach out to each and every IFA who are serious about advisory business, and we decided to provide 50% discount in that particular price. So we have priced the software to 45,000 plus GST per annum per subscription, and process is very, very simple. If you are interested, you can express your interest to our RM. They would provide you the payment link. Once you make the payment, they will ask for your company logo. We'll integrate the logo and will provide you the login ID and password. The entire process happen within 24 hours. So within 24 hours, you'll be ready with your login ID and password, and you can start analyzing your existing client portfolio. You can create a model portfolio, and you can do everything as Arunabh has explained. So annual fee, I repeat, this is, yes sir, it is 45,000 plus GST per annum, per subscription, per login. Suppose if you want multiple login, you can contact your RM or me. We'll discuss on that. Yes, RM is Anirudh has already posted his mobile number in the chat box.
Yeah, Alok have also put his name up on a notepad. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just share it with the.
Yes, perfect. In fact, we'll reply to your mail. We'll provide the relevant details, and also we'd request you to also reply back with your contact details so that we can quickly connect and provide the login ID or trial login and discuss in detail or whatever query you have. Yes, renewal will remain the same, sir. So first year it is 45 plus GST. Subsequent year also it will remain 45 plus GST, 45,000 plus GST. Sir, it will remain for, I think I would request Deb. So collectively we have decided it will remain same. for subsequent years also, 45,000 plus GST. The important thing here is that, as Arunabh has explained, this is the most responsive software. It will keep adding different features time to time, the market requirement. Will not going to charge extra amount for all these features. As Arunabh has mentioned, he has been developing from time to time. We will not charge anything extra. So this software will remain as dynamic as ever, but will not increase or will not charge anything extra for that. So, Mr. Somani suggested if number go up, price would go down. Yes, that's a good suggestion, but definitely we will keep adding different features so that we can remain agile. This software remain agile for all these additional features, whatever technology we adopt or whatever required to spending, we are not increasing the price to keep the expectation or keep the parity in the